Harris County, Texas is starting to look a whole lot like Maricopa County, Arizona. And what you're about to see is quite possibly the most incompetent display of policing you've ever observed in your life. And I don't take that lightly considering what we watch on this channel on a weekly basis. Let's get into it. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Southern Draw Law. My name is James White, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, former police officer. Harris County deputies, one female, one male, are dispatched in February to a gas station in Houston to deal with a person that's been reported to be vandalizing multiple gas pumps. Now, we don't know why. We don't know what's going on with the guy. They came out with the critical incident briefing about a week ago, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. I first learned about it on the Active Self-Protection channel, and those guys over there broke it down. But, you know, they're police officers or retired police officers, so they have one perspective, and I have a little bit different. So I'd still like to talk a little bit about the legal aspects. So let's go out to the Harris County briefing and check it out and see what they have to say about it.
This video is intended to provide information about a critical incident that occurred on February 27, 2025. At approximately 3:09 a.m., Harris County Sheriff's Office Patrol Bureau deputies were dispatched to a disturbance call reported at the Exxon gas station located at 10303 North Freeway. The caller reported that a man was damaging the fuel pumps.
Now, we don't know what's going on with this guy. We don't know whether he's methed out. We don't know whether he's having a mental health issue that has, you know, I've encountered people in my career as a law enforcement officer that sort of had parallel symptoms if they were off of lithium bipolar medication for several days. They had sort of the same manifested behaviors as people who were cracked out or methed out. In fact, I was one of the first officers in my state to be certified in crisis intervention training by NAMI, which was the National Alliance for Mental Illness. And so I learned a lot about how those symptoms can sort of manifest themselves in a parallel way. And that really helped in the way that I dealt with people. But in this particular case, we really don't have any idea why he's destroying gas pumps. I mean, for all I know, maybe he had what happened to me happen to him, and he got his freaking credit card skimmed by one of those credit card readers. And that reminds me that I need to tell you guys about the sponsor of today's video, Incogni. Now, I wasn't joking when I said that I'd had my debit card details skimmed a couple years back at a gas pump. I'd actually paid for my gas, was back in my car, and was headed home. And before I could even get into my driveway, I was getting fraud alert calls from my bank because the scammers had managed to clone my debit card and had taken like $1,100 from my account. Now, it's obvious that you don't want things like your credit card number or your bank account number or your social security number out there for the world to see. But data brokers aren't just interested in the obvious stuff. And there's way more of your information out there than you even realize. By compiling your regular data, even things you've never considered, like your age and your ethnic background, your religion, your political affiliation, or even the city and state where you live, a data broker can use that information to package your potential consumership like a warm lead to any company looking to place products in front of people just like you. Now, the good news is that they do have to remove your information once you've made a request for removal. But the bad news is you actually have to make the requests, all of them, individually. Now, that sounds overwhelming, and it would be if it weren't for Incogni. But they have made the process so simple that anyone can do it. First, sign up for an account. Then, just give Incogni permission to contact the data brokers on your behalf to get all your information removed from their databases. And then, all you have to do is get back to doing whatever it was you were doing before I ruined your day by alerting you to this devastating problem that you didn't know existed. And while you're living your life, Incogni cleans up the mess. They'll even send you an alert to let you know it's done. And the best news of all is that Incogni has a special offer for any of my viewers who want to take advantage of their incredible service. All you have to do is use the code SDL for 60% off an annual Incogni plan. Now, back to the video. Now, as far as a lawful seizure goes, the officers do roll up and they do observe him committing felony vandalism or whatever the charge is in Harris County, but they witness that. So it's a felony that's observed in their presence by the officers. So they do have not only reasonable articulable suspicion that a crime has taken place, but they actually have probable cause because they have observed that he has committed this crime. So they do have the lawful authority at this point to take him under arrest and to take him into custody. So they try to do that. The issue is not so much their lawful authority to seize him or take him into custody, but it's really about how poor and just incompetent their tactics are. I've never seen police officers look more out of place than these two police officers. But let's check out, we'll watch the rest of the interaction. I'm going to blur out some of it because there is a shooting here and this gentleman does actually pass away. So we are going to blur it for the purposes of not getting an age restriction on YouTube. It is what it is, guys. I hate it too, but let's check it out and we'll come back and talk about it afterwards.
Two deputies arrived at the scene at 3:12 a.m. Deputies observed the male, later identified as 36-year-old LaVincer Swanson, behaving erratically and damaging the fuel pumps at the business. The deputies instructed Swanson to stop and lay on the ground. Swanson laid down on the ground but became combative as deputies attempted to place handcuffs on him. Both deputies deployed their tasers as they worked to gain control of Swanson. Swanson continued fighting, causing one deputy to drop his taser. The struggle continued as deputies repeatedly instructed Swanson to stop fighting. One deputy then fired her duty weapon twice, striking Swanson in the torso.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! No, it's okay. I won at one point. Get on the ground! Get on the ground, I'm gonna fucking tase you! Get on the ground, I'm gonna tase you! Get on the ground! Put your fucking hands behind your back! Put them behind your back! Don't you fucking move!
Okay, so he's pronated. So he's out on his belly. His arms are, he's compliant. They have an opportunity here where, let's just look and see how many seconds this is.
Keep your hands down.
I want this one to take. Put your hands behind your back.
Put your hands behind your back. Bring it back.
Oh my God.
Hey, put your fucking hands down.
Put your hands behind your back!
Hey,
Now!
down.
So he is pronated on the ground, surrendering, following commands, and it takes this female officer 12 seconds to dig out these handcuffs that apparently she's never handled before in her entire life, because she looks like she just found a piece of metal in her pocket that she has no idea what to do with. She bends forward at the waist and basically displaces all of her weight in a forward posture so that she is so easy to tip over. Like, she has no base. She has no clue what she's doing. This is how people look on like day one of defensive tactics. They've never done this before. They don't know what they're doing. This is day one academy stuff, defensive tactics, learning how to handcuff people, it's not after you've been certified and you're already out on the street. People should not be this lost about taking somebody into custody and actually be a certified police officer. But they had 12 seconds of compliance before anything else happens. And then another 8 seconds after she begins to handcuff him before he starts moving. So you literally have 20 seconds of compliance where both of them could have taken him into custody. But because she's pussyfooting around and has no clue what she's doing, this thing goes crazy.
Put your hands behind your back! Now! Get on your stomach! Get on your stomach now! Get on your stomach! Do not move! Do not fucking move!
So here's the issue. If you're going to use a taser in this situation, and the female officer is going to be handcuffing, he needs to be standing back a ways and using the darts instead of trying to drive stun. Anybody who knows anything about using a taser knows that a drive stun is only effective. So a taser has the circuit is between these 2 points here. You got these 2 probes. So the entire electrical circuit exists arcing between these 2 probes. That's why when you shoot the darts, when the darts come out, they spread. So the top dart would come out 0 degrees and the bottom dart would come out 8 degrees. I don't know whether scientifically if that's changed or not, but the idea is that the further you are away, the more of a spread you're going to get, and then the larger the circuit. So if you're shooting somebody with a taser at, say, 10, 12, 15 feet away, you might have one dart up in their shoulder if you shoot them in the back or the front. Either way, doesn't matter. You might have one up in the shoulder, you might have one down at the knee, right? And the idea is that you circulate that 50,000 volts throughout their entire body. Well, when you drive stun somebody, the volts only circulate between these 2 points, right? So if you're putting that against somebody's skin, it doesn't lodge into their skin the way darts do. Like, it's possible to pull the darts out. We've seen people roll, break the leads, all that stuff, but it's much, much more difficult because you're under the impact of that electrical current the second that those darts go in your skin. Well, with a drive stun, all you have to do is just break contact. And that's what you see this guy doing here. And so the idea that you've got an officer here trying to handcuff and you have decided to hover over him and drive stun instead of standing back a little ways so that you could actually deploy darts in the event that you actually have to tase him for compliance is silly. It's crazy. You've got one officer cuffing, you got another officer that can cover. The other approach you could have taken is the approach that you would use if you had any sort of ground training or jiu-jitsu training at all, which is that one officer takes the top half of the body and another officer takes the lower half of the body. And I'm certified in Gracie survival tactics. I know there are a lot of guys out there that don't like the Gracie jiu-jitsu system, but what they offer to police officers is phenomenal training compared to having absolutely nothing. I'll show you a video clip in a couple minutes here of Gracie survival tactics and of their system called SafeWrap. And even before SafeWrap, just the way that they deal with the upper and lower half of the body with multiple officers, it's so much more effective than what these folks tried to do. Because the end result is this guy's dead because these officers are incompetent, weren't well trained, and had no clue what they're doing.
I'm going to kill you. I don't care if I threaten you, f***ing officer. I'm going to f***ing kill you.
When this young woman resisted arrest in the courtroom, Officer Stevens was forth on scene, and when he noticed they were struggling to restrain her, he applied the SafeWrap system to control and de-escalate.
Just hold. Just hold. Just hold. We have no rush.
She was suffering a severe mental health crisis.
Please, I can't do it anymore.
Once she de-escalated, I talked an officer through the SafeWrap lateral cuffing procedure, and then we sat her up and got her on her way.
Incredible. And yeah, to give a little context to viewers who don't understand the system, SafeWrap is a 2-position system where you start with the person on their back, crossover arm control, binding leg control. And once you deplete the subject's will to fight, you then roll the person on their side for the lateral restraint and crossover leg control, where you can transition into lateral cuffing. In this case, Officer Stevens, because you were the only one that was SafeWrap certified, you improvised. So even though you stayed in position 1 the entire time, it looks like the system was still very effective for you.
Exactly. Yes, it was. Because of the grips and the control that I had, she wasn't able to scratch me. She wasn't able to bite me. She wasn't able to hit. And I was able to assess her medically and for level of consciousness because we were face to face the entire time. At no point through the entire encounter did I have any fear of losing control of the grips. So that allowed me to remain calm and allowed me to calm down the entire situation, de-escalating and helping her through her emotional distress. And once her emotions somewhat regulated, we were able to get her hands behind her back using the safe wrap lateral cuffing procedure without losing control at any point in time.
So immediately this thing gets escalated because she wasn't ready to cuff. She's the reason that this is the way it is. The male officer, he's got his ankles up against this guy's shoulders. All this guy has to do is grab his legs and he's going to the ground. This is just disgusting. It's unbelievable to me. This is Houston, Texas. It's one of the biggest places in the freaking country. How can you have this level of inadequacy in police training that you get this as a finished product in a place with as much money and as many resources as Houston, Texas? This male officer he's got the mount position. He has no concept of base. He doesn't have hooks in. He has no concept of keeping balance. He has no ability to shift to modified mount to try to roll with the person underneath. All he's doing is just laying on the guy, and he's not using his weight in any effective way whatsoever. This is amazing. She's reaching out and pinching. Look, she gets her radio wire into the suspect's hands so that he can wrap that around her partner's neck and kill him. Oh my God, this is awful.
Fuck! Let go of him! Oh, fuck! What's wrong with this motherfucker? Fuck! Stop, dude! Let him go! No! Let him go! Let him go, dude! I'm about to fucking shoot you! Let him fucking go! Let him go!
Her answer is to squeal as if she's 4 years old, balled up in the fetal position in the corner. How could any of you guys go out on patrol and have this person as your backup? She's holding her pistol with her thumb literally on the slide. When she fires around, if she doesn't move that thumb, it's going to break. This is the weakest. Oh God, this is the weakest pistol grip I've ever seen in my life. It literally looks like she has never held a gun. She has never held a set of handcuffs. It looks like she has no clue what to do. It's like she just showed up one day and was like, you know what? I think I want to be a cop today. I'll just put on a uniform and see how it goes. Well, this is how it goes.
Oh my God, I don't want to fucking shoot him. Oh, great, I'm gonna have to.
First of all, I don't want to shoot him. She shouldn't even be thinking about shooting him. He is not getting the best of her partner. This is not a deadly force situation right now. No, he's not tried to go for any weapons. He's not tried to do anything other than get away. So this is not an authorized deadly force situation right now. That's going to get complicated, and I'll explain a little bit based on what the Supreme Court just really did.
Are you okay? Are you? Did I hit you? Stay down. Stay down. Don't move. Don't move.
Right there. Right there. Somebody saw it. Right there.
I need you to hurry up.
This can't be the first time that you guys have seen this. Like Houston, Harris County, this cannot be a surprise to you. There's no way this girl showed up and started behaving like this as a police officer. She arrives in a second car, okay? When you're an FTO, you have a partner. You have a supervising officer. You got a field training officer that's in the car with you. This girl shows up solo, which means that she's completed the field training officer program and been released on her own, okay? So there's zero chance that they didn't have notice of how bad this officer was. There's no way. You don't get this bad and this incompetent after having been released from the FTO program without people knowing. So she fires around, not authorized for deadly force here, and then fires a second round a half a second later, and all he's trying to do is get up. He's got a taser beside him. He doesn't even know it's there. He doesn't try to reach for it. Now, I believe this girl will be charged. The optimist in me just believes she will be charged with some level of homicide, even if it's just voluntary manslaughter. I cannot imagine any objectively reasonable police officer looking at this scenario and saying, yep, that was justified. I don't see it. I don't know how you could make that argument with a straight face, but this case will be complicated. And here's why. you remember that a couple weeks ago, I did a video after the Supreme Court ruled on the Barnes v. Felix case. Remember that Barnes v. Felix was about Harris County, Texas, and it was a constable who stopped Ashton Barnes for unpaid toll violations. During Barnes's attempt to flee the traffic stop, Felix jumps on the rocker panel of Barnes's car and then shoots him as he tries to drive away. And the idea was that the Fifth Circuit at that time had been applying what they called the moment of threat doctrine. And it ignores everything leading up to it and just says, in the moment of threat, the moment where the constable fired his gun, would it have been reasonable for him to believe that he was in imminent danger of death or serious bodily injury? That's what the law of the land was then in the Fifth Circuit. Well, here's the issue. That case has since been overturned, but the Supreme Court ruled on it after this incident. And the way this works is when the family sues for the civil rights violation here for excessive force, this cop will get qualified immunity. And the reason is because they will apply the moment of threat doctrine because that was the law of the land at the time this incident occurred. Even though the Supreme Court has come out now a few weeks later after this thing happened, because it happened in February, and I want to say the Barnes v. Felix decision was in May. So after this happened, the Supreme Court said, no, it's a totality of the circumstances. You have to view it under the tenets of Graham versus Connor, which they'll look at this from a Graham versus Connor perspective. But as far as the actual shooting, they will apply the moment of threat doctrine from the Fifth Circuit. But the question will be, and you guys tell me what you think in the comments, do you think that it would be a valid argument that under these circumstances that her partner, because she's shooting on behalf of her partner, would have believed reasonably that he was in fear of death or serious bodily injury? Remember, he never goes for his gun. Now, you wouldn't draw your gun in this type of situation anyway, probably as somebody's giving you all these hands up in your face and all that stuff, because it's just, why try to draw your gun in close proximity? You'd want to dismount and then back up and then potentially try to regroup, right? So he doesn't go for his gun, though. He never gets off the guy, draws his weapon, does anything. She shoots on his behalf. So the question is, do you guys think that this will be a situation where even under the moment of threat, that this was reasonable? Let me say this. If under the moment of threat, this is found to be reasonable, they'll probably dismiss the lawsuit altogether. But if not, even if they win, this deputy will get qualified immunity because the law was not clearly established at the time. They were still using moment of threat. A few weeks later, not. So I do believe that ultimately this will be a qualified immunity case, even if she gets charged criminally. And I have at least some faith that because of the diversity of Houston, Texas, that if she is charged, that she might be convicted. But you never know. In closing, this is a terrible case. This is a case where somebody was either highly intoxicated or off their medication, experienced a mental health breakdown that didn't need to be dead. He tried to comply. It's unclear what caused him to sort of change his mind because, again, you're dealing with an irrational person. We don't know why. We don't know whether it's because of drugs or mental health, but you're dealing with somebody that's clearly not thinking in a way that's consistent with a normal person. So you don't know why he decided to fight. In my mind, this is not a close call as far as the authorization to use deadly force here. I don't see anything that would have suggested that this guy wanted to do anything except to get away. And I just don't think it's an authorized shooting. But you guys may disagree. You may see it a different way. Tell me what you think in the comments. You can't ignore the fact that you don't get here without some of the most inadequate and incompetent policing you've ever seen in your life. Anyway, that's all for this one, guys. I just wanted to put it on your radar. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I'll probably write a companion blog. That'll be linked in the description of the video, and it will be over on Substack. I'd like to invite you to come over to Substack because a lot of times things will come up in the comments or somebody will say something I didn't really think about at the time that I was making the video, or maybe I'll learn something new that I'll decide to write about in the Substack blog. So come check it out. It's absolutely free to join. You can join on a paid tier if you'd like to, but you don't have to. That's just for people who want to support the channel monetarily. If you don't want to come over to Substack, but you'd still like to support monetarily, I'll leave my Venmo and PayPal links both here on the screen as well as in the description. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment on the video. Check out some of the other videos on the channel. Leave a comment on there as well. Until I see you again, take care. Always film your interactions with the police and keep your evidence to yourself.